Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Noonas podcast. My name is Jenny, and as always, I'm here with my good friend, Ginny.
Hello again. We made it past.
Hey, we made it to a second episode. Look at us.
Yes, survived the first test. It's always a good thing.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised with all the feedback we got. I've gotten so much positive feedback from a lot of friends on Facebook. We just kind of shared it on a couple, on a couple pages of friends we know, and it's been overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah. No, it's been so it's been amazing. With people who are not familiar with the content and what the things that we like. They always message us and say oh man, congratulations on your new show, guys. Not really into the music itself, but I'm there to support you guys. And oh man, it's super sweet to hear about it. And hopefully, get to, you guys will get to listen to more of our stuff and just be more interested in what we do and what we listen to. So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, hopefully, if it's not your thing, maybe we'll kind of turn it into your thing, or just, give you some things to possibly listen to, expand your music library a little bit, maybe. Wow, it's been a crazy week, not just on that side, but also just in the K-pop world in general. There's so much happening now with all these comebacks starting to just roll out as we get later into October and November. There's been teasers galore for upcoming shows, or not upcoming shows, upcoming albums that are going to be released here in the next couple weeks. We've seen stuff from Twice, from Mamamoo, from 17, from Tomorrow by Together. I say go search them out on YouTube, the concept trailers and teasers for the upcoming albums. I believe out of all of them, I think Mamamoo is the only full-length album that's coming out.
I heard it's a 10th mini album.
Oh, no, that's 10th. Yeah, it's their 10th mini album. They've been cranking out some really good stuff as of late.
Yeah.
I know 17's is a mini album as well as Tomorrow by Together's. I think Twice is also a mini album.
Yeah, I know they're going to be coming out with their music video on the 26th.
Right,
so
I know.
Pretty soon.
I know the release schedules. I know 17 comes back next Monday, the 19th of October. Both Tomorrow by Together and Twice come out on the 26th, so the following Monday. And I think Mamamoo comes back the first week of November. So, yeah, there's a lot coming forward of some of our favorite groups that we like to talk about. So there's a lot of new content. But before any of that happens, we have already a really big drop that happened this week. NCT came back with their album, and we're going to get to that later in the episode today. But before even that happened, over the weekend, BTS had I will say, an amazing show.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what your experience was, because I know I thought you wouldn't survive that weekend. I was kind of worried for you there, girl.
Let's just say, I nearly died. No, I will have to get into it. Seriously, if you have even a slight interest in BTS, please go see a concert. They are amazing. So, but I guess should we just get into it? Should I get into my experience with Map of the Soul 1 from this weekend?
Yes, let's hear you die again.
Not to know that my boyfriend has not heard me, explain that. He was already teasing me about how I watched the concert 50 times, which not true. I only watched it 4 times. No, so because of the pandemic, and because basically all live music has been, pretty much upended and canceled this year because of the pandemic, BTS had their big concert this weekend that you could buy tickets online and watch online, called Map of the Soul 1. In reference to their latest album release, Map of the Soul 7, which came out way back in February. Almost feels like another eternity ago that Map of the Soul 7 came out. Yeah, so we had a amazing show that they played for 2 nights. It was very early Saturday morning and more early Sunday morning in U.S. time, U.S. and Canadian time. Obviously, over in Korea, it was more in the afternoon, evening. But yeah, it's like I said, a BTS concert is it's almost a religious experience in a way. Just there's a lot of emotion. Like they are all seven of them are amazing on stage. Like their charisma and the power they exude when they're up on the stage, just performing is amazing and insane. And just being surrounded by everybody. I mean, because I went to their show last year. I went to their Love Yourself, Speak Yourself date. I went to day 2 in Chicago. Kind of regret I didn't go to day 1, but I was also spending the weekend with my boyfriend in Chicago, so I wasn't gonna like completely abandon him all weekend for BTS. Also, it was Mother's Day weekend, so
gonna like cheat on him for BTS. I'm like, no, don't leave me.
He's gonna hear this. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Sis Drake. Yeah. Yeah. He knows. He puts up with it. I'm so happy he puts up with my K-pop obsession. But yeah, and also too, when I went to the show last year at Soldier Field in Chicago, it was cold. It was raining the whole entire show. And yet it was possibly one of the best concerts I've ever been to. I mean, they couldn't show everything on stage. I managed to actually see another performance of Speak Yourself later in the year because I saw the Wembley performance that they had released. And there's some they had some VR stuff that they were playing with. And one of the members, Jungkook, was literally flying over the stage during Euphoria.
For the Euphoria performance.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because of the rain, I couldn't see that live because of the safety, which I understand because basically the stage was wet the whole entire show. Like people were in ponchos and freezing. There's so many women underdressed for the take. It was 35 and rating. It was cold and miserable in May. But at least this time around, we're in the comfort of our own homes, in front of our computers, screaming over Discord as I was doing for most of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing. I don't know how many artists or bands are doing this online concert, but for them to put so much effort into putting up the effects. And I've seen some clips of them doing these really smooth transitions between the first and second clip of the costume change. I mean that is insane. As well as how they get to have their fans or the people who are seeing their concert interact and be on the stage with them just on the screens. I mean it's really amazing. I wish I could go watch it online, but my being broke. But it just goes to show you how much BTS really does this for their fans, their army. This is how they dedicate their work and their music, their artistry, just for their fans, the ones who been following them for most of the years. So it's really touching and really highly impressive for them to do this feat.
Yeah, it was quite a production that they put on. I think some of the stuff that they did, I think, were things that they wanted to do on stage during the show. Obviously, through the concert. So for K-pop concerts, usually there are what they call VCRs, which are basically video packages that they have in between the sets that are broken up. And I could tell from it's bad. I can tell this from the hairstyles and hair colors of when these were shot, because this is how we go by when things are shot. And usually is by what color the idol's hairs are. That they shot all this for Map of the Soul tour that was supposed to happen starting in March. And so it's really good to see those VCRs and see what they were playing with, because basically, if you aren't aware of the whole theme, Map of the Soul, the whole theme between Persona, which came out last year, and Seven, which came out this year, has been about human psychology. We've been talking about the persona, the shadow, and the ego, and it's bringing in all these psychological terms and just psychological Jungian theory into their music. And it's really fascinating now to see it on stage. And there's been so many articles I've been seeing, or I guess not articles, but fans breaking down interpretations of the songs, especially when you get into obviously you have the rap line. They did their solos, and they did literally RM did Persona, Suga did Shadow, and J-Hope did Ego. So those three psychological terms. But then in between all those, you also have the 4 vocal line members, and they all had individual solos. And those are kind of almost digging deeper into like their psyche in a way.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I love about the BTS in general. Like, people think that this is some pretty boy band, but they they do a lot of things in their album, like about a bunch of like really insightful concepts. They're like, researching all about like Carl Jung and like his psychology and how it really relates to like what they're going through, and like how they would like connect this feelings and these thoughts for your fans, like, cause we all like struggle with like dealing with being our true selves, and yeah, just being like really confident in who we are. A lot of us go through that, and I'm so glad that how BTS would do those types of subject matter instead of like going with like the typical things with like K-pop groups, and what they would go for like a typical concept. So yes, yeah, I'm just really researching about like the Carl Jung psychology as well, and seeing what they were like extracting into like putting into their art, into their album. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Especially with the 2 that really stood out for me were Jungkook's My Time solo performance and Jimin's Filter, which are literally back to back. Both are great performers on stage. Jungkook just has an amazing stage presence, and his vocals are just really, like, he is seriously one of the best vocalists in Generation 3, hands down, if not all K-pop right now.
Yeah, he's like the most versatile performer we've seen like so far in this generation. Like, he does everything like to a T. Like, he's super talented in his craft, like singing, rapping, dancing. He can do everything except for math. That's like the funny thing about Jungkook. But yeah, he's like one of the most versatile performers out there.
He is, and his performance for My Time was super. It's sexy, but like there's a lot of thought and meaning into like how, like, just from like the backdrop, and they had basically this camera where when you like have a camera on you and it's always delayed in the background, and it's just kind of repeating that whole delayed thing in the background. To just the dancing, the choreography that he had for the song, and it's extremely sexy, but it's also very poignant too in a way. Basically, the song itself is basically it's kind of him almost talking about like a lost childhood in a way, because he started this all when he was very young. I mean, Jungkook debuted at 16 or 15, I guess, technically, because his birthday's not until September. But he debuted very, very young. While and obviously with K-pop groups, you train for years before you debut. So he lost a chunk of his teenagedom, I guess, in a way. But it's also kind of a hopeful song too. Like, he's like, this is my time. Like, right now, I'm claiming it, and I can do this. And so, and just, I mean, it's a very powerful performance. And just, yeah, there's been a very common gif going around of like the costume switching back and forth between Jungkook, because so there were actually some different costume changes between day 1 and day 2 for Jungkook's performance. Actually, for all the vocal line performances, they all had different outfits for day 2, which still fit their personalities and fit their productions very, very well for their concert. Even J-Hope actually had a bit of a different outfit for day 2 as well for Ego, which I'm not gonna lie, day 1 those bedazzled flared jeans were something. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah, but going back to Jungkook, like, I feel like not that I'm putting down like the other BTS members, but how with each member we have like each of them having like this like one single personality, or like this thing with them. Like, for Jimin, he's like more like the sensual type of performer, while V is the more like a mysterious, dark persona. J-Hope is more like the bright and like the optimistic type, and he could go on. But with Jungkook, like, he can like carry out all of these emotions, all of these like these movements with him, and he can just be all round with the personality and what he does in his performances. So yeah, they really like shown a light on him, and then like he's really pulled through at this year. So
yeah, it's amazing. Just like I said, the power he exudes. There's a reason why he is possibly one. Like usually, because everyone like the first member people know, I think with BTS is Jungkook. So that, and there's a reason why. There's very much a reason why. Also, like I said, Jimin's performance of Filter it was amazing because it's almost kind of like, I don't want to read too much into it because I know a lot of people were taking it into reading like um gender expression in a way, because when he's dancing on stage, he's taking clothes off of a woman mannequin and putting it on himself. And all the members of BTS have kind of played with like, wearing women's clothing like in a really fashionable way.
I mean, a lot of like K-pop, like male K-pop groups have like delved into like feminine clothing. Like Wonho from Monster X has been doing that for his solo, right? Like he's putting out like a mix of like masculinity with his like body, but also like wearing like these really skimpy outfits. So it's like he can play both ways, and it goes to show how like male K-pop idols, they're not afraid to like are not afraid to express themselves and like be confident in wearing like these really flamboyant clothing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, spectacular. If you manage to catch a video of Filter, either day one or day two, it's a very beautifully done choreographed piece. And there's just reading some of the ways, like the choreography, breaking it down, like the society almost forcing him to go into more male stuff. Like you're male, but then he's like, no, I'm expressing myself. So it's a lot of that. And like I said, there's a lot of these messages throughout BTS's catalog of music, but not just because it was Map of the Soul 1. That's what they named the concert, the 2 nights. There were also the set list itself was amazing. Obviously we started with the big comeback from February on, and we actually had quite a bit of callbacks to like their early stuff. Like I'm talking like Before Dark and Wild. I'm talking like debut day music.
Like No More Dream, that era.
Yeah, we had No More Dream. We had No, or I guess it's No technically. I always pronounce it as No, which is honestly God, one of my, I think is an underrated single of theirs. That was their
like
second.
Their past hip hop eras, like they were like underrated. But how like they become like really like a popular type of boy band, but I'm glad they didn't forget like their hip hop roots and like how they would go for the aggressive militaristic style into their.
Yeah, I mean, and they embraced that this show. And like I said, they had No More Dream. You had No. You had We Are Bulletproof Part 2. All from their first and second mini albums when they debuted back in 2013 that they're performing, and seeing it now, 7 years later. With more confidence and swagger, and just it's still that style, even though back in the day, like it translates differently now, considering the age and where we're at, but like it's still like has all that swagger and stuff. Also, I may or may not have screamed because they included the iconic dance break in We Are Bulletproof Part 2. Ginny knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's there's always a lot of clips and videos of that floating around. That was from, I think, from the Red Bullet tour, which is like one of their first like big tours that they did around Asia. When they were starting to get big. This is probably right before Most Beautiful Moment era. So you're talking like 2015 BTS, and it's a very iconic dance break throughout the fandom. And yeah, to see them bring that back was quite something in 2020. So that's what they ended the show with. They ended the show with We Are Bulletproof Part 2 before they went into the encore. And so, yeah, it's like I said, a BTS show is seriously almost a religious experience. Like there's just a lot of emotion and soul put into it. Like I haven't even scratched the surface on this because, but I know I should probably start wrapping up because we have other stuff to talk about. Because like even with the rap line performances from RM doing Persona, and to seeing that swagger on stage, to Suga's Shadow, which honest to God is I think my favorite solo that came from Seven.
Yeah, I really like that song too.
Yeah, it's very dark, and it's a really good hip hop rap track.
Yeah, it kind of like shed some light on like how like they're struggling like through, even though like they're really famous. Like you can see how like deep down like they have like some mental emotional struggles that they need to like get past, the pressure that's like been put upon them. Yeah, that's why I kind of like felt that, like, got that emotion from Suga. So I
Yeah.
just I really felt that type of way watching his like the video and the song too.
Yeah, and I had such high hopes for Shadow to see that live this year when I was going to go see the show, and to see it actually finally on stage was amazing. And between that and the costume change, like he literally has a costume change on stage. Like they literally, like, I think they had, you can kind of tell he has rip away clothing, but it's so like such a dynamic when the beat changes towards the end of the song. It's amazing. And then it goes right into Black Swan, which is I think my favorite song off of Seven, in that beautiful choreography. And then Jimin doing a solo contemporary dance at the end of Black Swan.
Well, of course, you got to show his like his ballet his ballet skills.
Considering, like, because I know the fans were talking about it after Black Swan, because Black Swan came out as a pre-release single before Map of the Soul 7 came out, and when it came out with actually a dance troupe from Europe performing the song in this beautiful orchestral version, which I'm not gonna lie, Big Hit, please release that version, that remix, because that remix is amazing and hauntingly beautiful. I will pay good money for that, and because you can tell, like, through the motions, just because he's a really good contemporary dancer. He's very talented in ballet, and just to see him, you can tell like all the agony and the darkness throughout it, because it's talking really much about your shadow, about your darker side of yourself that you don't really want the world to know about, but you still kind of need to embrace in order to kind of come to terms with yourself.
Yep, you said it.
So, yeah, it was an amazing show. It was well worth the. I think it was $90 for both days online. But hey, I mean,
right?
It's money very well spent. It's, you're not going to get a BTS concert ticket much cheaper than that for one night if you want a decent seat. So yeah, it was an amazing weekend. Completely messed up my sleep schedule, and I'm not gonna lie, I basically went through Saturday just kind of like a zombie after that first night. Like, well, that, and also because of the ending meant too. So K-pop shows usually have they'll have like an opening. We call them ments, when they kind of sit, in their line, and they start talking to the fans, and just kind of, like they do at the beginning of the show and they do it towards the end of the show, kind of just, wrap up the show. And at the end of the first night, Jimin broke down crying on stage, and I'm not gonna lie, I started crying too, because I think it all came to them at that point. Because like you kind of tell he's starting to break a little bit towards the in the beginning of the encore, because that first encore night one was oh shoot, what was it, night one? Oh, it was Butterfly into oh shoot, what was it? It was I think Butterfly into I Need You, I think. I know night two was Spring Day into Idol. It was very interesting, but that was a fun encore too. But night one, he started crying on stage, basically because there was a lot of struggle with them, having to cancel the concerts and basically put touring on hold because of the pandemic. And he's immensely grateful that they could have this opportunity, but I think they all kind of struggled because performing is their life and their career, and to have that just suddenly stop because it was dangerous is, I'm sure it was a shock to them so much. I think all of them have kind of struggled with it.
Yeah, like I know like a lot of performers or artists like who depend on living with by performing. Like that's how they would earn like so much of their stuff is really been like a disappointing. It's been a struggle for like many artists and act like like the ones who like the entertainers to live at this this time. So I wouldn't not too surprised that they've been like going with that struggle as well, like trying to earn the trying to lose what they've like earned. But I'm really glad that they found a way for them to like put up a show at in this unique sense of like medium and like way of like displaying for like the presenting to the crowd who really wanted to see them perform.
Yeah, and I know they've also actually donated to, I can't remember the name of the fund now, but there is a fund I think that started here in the States that supports those who are impacted by live music, whether it's production crews, people who work in the venues, because a lot of those people's well-being have obviously, been upset because of the pandemic. And so I know BTS donated quite a substantial amount of money. I can't remember off the
That's
top of my
good.
head how much, but I know they did donate to that fund because, yeah, I mean, they know the struggle. I mean, obviously, there's so many people behind the scenes, not just the seven of them. There's so many people behind the scenes, between the camera work and the stage production. And because, I mean, this thing was on a rotating set. This is like a huge circle. It was like four
Yeah.
different stages. And they were walking back and forth between all four stages and, setting up the next stage, from one stage. It was a very dynamic, moving performance just to kind of deal with those logistics. I can't imagine what the practices had to be through to walk through all those stages and all those set designs and stuff. So yeah, it was it was another very, very fun experience. I mean, I have another online concert actually happening next weekend, actually. So I have something to compare to. AT's actually having their second anniversary show next Saturday that I
Oh,
got a ticket
that's
for.
good.
So, and I've seen a few other groups have done it, and like they had the fans in the background and stuff. So I think I've seen a bunch of SM artists do it. I think I saw NCT and Super M, I think, did shows similar to that,
Yeah.
where they had the fans live streaming in.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Like I think I know recently they were participating in the World Mental Health Day, so I know like they did that, and I'm pretty sure Super M did something similar, like putting up a live performance online.
Yeah, especially with their most recent comeback. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's a pandemic. We're finding creative ways to get live music to people. I mean, I've seen Western artists do it too. So, K-pop is not the only genre, but just it's interesting translating a K-pop show from the stage outside to something inside and digital and virtual in a way. So, yeah, it's fascinating, and yeah, it was like I said, money well worth spent, and I'm really happy I got to experience it, and it's just kind of cathartic in a way too. So
Yeah. 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 Okay. How do you compare like this online concert to like the rest of their last concerts? How does it compare?
to speak yourself.
Well, any of like the concerts they've done previously. Like I know I'm like new into K-pop, so I'm just wondering like how does this new concert like the Map of the Soul one compared to like their last concerts and performances?
I mean, I knew this was going to be some kind of it was going to be a spectacular show as it is, just with the context of the album and just like the whole production behind it. And I think it's hard to say because like obviously on the stage it's like you only have like the one stage and then there's people running around and stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, for Speak Yourself, you literally had the stage open up with Dionysus and you had two giant silver panthers like inflating up and like this like long ass table coming out and you're just breaking right into Dionysus, which is like this insane hip hop heavy like party jam that's also kind of got a darker tinge to it. Still I think one of my favorite tracks from Dionysus, and also it has a special place in my heart because J-Hope actually wrote a good chunk of it, and J-Hope's my bias in BTS. It was very interesting because they were still playing a lot with virtual AR, augmented reality and stuff. They were playing with that a little bit on Map of this or on Love Yourself, Speak Yourself on the last tour. They had some AR elements into it,
Mhm.
and they were kind of playing with that more also in Map of the Soul one. So it's interesting to see like how all this technology is just like making these
Evolved.
stage shows, yeah, making them evolve into these like grandiose things that you really can't miss out on because they're really, really fascinating and spectacular. I mean, I would love to see like what they actually were planning for the tour versus what we got with Map of the Soul one, because I definitely know some stages changed. There's no way, no way that Jimin could have done that costume change he had in 3 seconds. It had to be like a pre-recorded, edited into the show kind of thing.
Yeah, there's like at the circumstance, like maybe like have this some certain idea to
Yeah.
like yeah implement into like the video.
Yeah, I mean, there's I love the fact that there were armies actually trying to like calculate out like how this could work, but it's like feasibly because that the suit he's wearing is super super like tailored to himself, and there's no way that you could hide something underneath it, much like Shiga hid his costume change in Shadow. Like that, I could believe. I couldn't believe the costume change that Jimin did without having some kind of magical editing, which if they edited that, holy cow, they seamlessly edited that into the show.
No, this is Jimin. This is Jimin like doing his natural magic.
Yes, Jimin is in magic and his chaotic magic. So like I said, it's almost hard to put into words. Like, because all their shows throughout BTS's career have evolved from Red Bullet to Wings Tour to the first leg of Love Yourself, and then to Love Yourself, Speak Yourself, then now to Map of the Soul. Every concert has evolved and changed and gotten more theatrical in a way. Actually, I think the more theatrical aspect started with Wings, and then they've just kind of expanded on that since. Like, you get that from the VRs, you get that from the stage, just the productions on stage. Like, there's a lot, there's a story woven into these shows. Like, there really is a story woven throughout the show in terms of how they broke down the set list to the order the songs are put in.
Yeah. I'm glad that they like still are being consistent with like what narrative or themes that they've been going through and like how it evolved. Like, I know like some of those clips that I spotted from like their concert, I can like sense like, oh, like it kind of calls back on their past songs like Blood, Sweat and Tears. Like, oh shoot, it's like those same type of characters again that I'm like seeing in those clips. Like, oh man, it's amazing that they brought it back.
I'm not gonna lie, if they had literally played Blood, Sweat, and Tears, I probably would have thrown my computer out the window.
Wait, they didn't
No.
Blood, Sweat? Oh.
I know they were teasing us so hard with it. I thought for sure they were gonna bring it back. They did not bring it back, and because when their VCR before Shadow, when they start getting really dark and very much Blood, Sweat, and Tears esque.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I thought for sure you could have, because honestly, let's put it this way: Shadow, Black Swan, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and Fake Love. Those are like their four most emo-y songs, and those are like those are also like four of my favorite songs from them. I'm an emo at heart, can you tell? But yeah, I was quite shocked. They've been teasing. Like, I feel like they've been kind of teasing at hinting and bring back Fake Love, or not Fake Love, but Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They haven't performed it pretty much since the first leg of Love Yourself. So, but I mean, we freaking got NO, and We Are Both with Part 2 and No More Dream this tour. So something tells me eventually they can bring it back. Like, they are not afraid about bringing back older material. So.
Yeah, of course. They brought that like We Are Bulletproof, so why not Blood, Sweat, and Tears?
I can only hope, if I do see Blood, Sweat, and Tears in person one day, I think I might spontaneously combust.
What are we all?
Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, please go watch the video for Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah, it's one of their biggest hits so far, like as a BTS discography goes.
Yeah, if you want to crash course, go see Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Like I said, that's the one track that just basically cemented me as ARMY. Mm-hmm. And then if you want a drug-fueled trip, go watch the Japanese version of Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
I think the Korean like tops, because it's like one of the most like artistic and like the most cinematic videos that they've done, other than like I Need You.
Yeah, you need, and just everything Wings era. Seriously, Wings era is like, the theater child in me, it just loves it because it's very theatrical and gothic, and it's all based on Herman Hesse's Damien. That's like the biggest inspiration from that whole album, and it's also the first time they also played with solos for everybody. That's when the first album everyone got a solo, and they've been repeating that now. This is everyone's like third solo with Map of the Soul 7. So. But yeah, I'm gonna go away from this fever dream of Blood, Sweat, and Tears performing on stage again to what just came out this week, which we had the first of our big comeback drops with NCT this week.
Oh boy! Talk about how Super M pride themselves in being the Avengers of K-pop. I think like NCT could compete to that in terms of being the biggest crossover.
Yeah, you want a crossover event for the ages. Let's put 4 groups together who are technically under the same umbrella group.
Yeah.
Add 2 more members to the mix and have a comeback that's just been blowing the doors off of everything. I mean, this comeback has been insane.
It's been like one of the most anticipated things since, as I heard like rumors about like they're putting the boys back together as like one huge chunk, and like once they confirm like they're doing NCT 2020 and that they're gonna be including Wavy because like long story about like political rivalry between China and Korea, but that's for another discussion. Yeah, I've never been so ecstatic in my life. Like superheroes blockbusters, like they've been all been postponed for this year, and I'm so glad that NCT like brought like the hype back for me.
I'm so happy you had your hype. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as well versed into NCT. I know a decent amount of NCT, but Jenny like is like my super hardcore like, oh my god, look at this, oh my god, look at this. Like she's been sending me fan art and crack videos for the last few days, which have been fantastic.
Like they've been like my first like group that I've got me intrigued into K-pop. Like after checking out the Seventh Sense video, I was like, oh, like that is a cool sound that I've never heard from K-pop. And yeah, like that got me like really interested. Like got me like I had like a more of a different opinion of K-pop because I felt like they have like this one generic sound like other than Gangnam Style. Like when I heard like the first like the drony melody from like that song, I was like, oh, what have I gotten myself into?
Then the Seventh Sense is a really sexy song. Like there's no other way to put it. It's a super sexy song. Also, I think one of the hardest choreographies because it's just super impactful and detailed, and the music itself, the beat itself is super hard to dance to, but it's a super sexy jam.
And to think that was like their debut, the one that like their very first song to debut as, like with the really complex dance like choreography. Yeah, like they really like after that video, they really cemented themselves into a really promising group, like K-pop band. And yeah, I can't that got me more excited than what they would do for their next projects.
Yeah, I mean, and NCT is basically, it's kind of crazy. So you have NCT under SM Entertainment. Probably, would you say they're probably their biggest group outside of EXO and probably, I guess, I don't know, Super M at this point?
Super M's kind of like, like starting off, so they're not as big as they were hoping to be at. Dropping really good debut, but yeah, they're still growing.
Yeah, they're still growing. I mean, we just had their first full album and they've only been together for a year. And basically, like we said before, Super M is a combination of a bunch of different groups K-pop members into one.
Because you have
Yeah, it's easier. There's 7 members in Super M, so but it's kind of also a nice sampling because you kind of get a little bit of each of their sounds, and then you can kind of go and expand into their groups too because you have SHINee, EXO, NCT 127 technically, and Wavy, I guess, if you want to be super specific. Otherwise, there are 4 members from NCT in there. Resonance Part 1, honestly, God, blew me away. I mean, I thought it was going to be blown away on Friday when they dropped Misfit, which I shared with you immediately when that dropped.
I know, like I first heard like the Deja Vu by NCT Dream, and I was really happy that they brought Mark back into like the line, and yeah, and then like after like the Misfits like really got me hyped for like the album too, and before into like the Make a Wish music video on Monday. And so yeah, that's a good setup. That was like a really good setup by and NCT and like SM to like promote it that way.
Yeah, because I mean, let's put it this way. There are 23 members to NCT.
And they're still recruiting more as we speak.
Yeah. Yes, this is a very dynamic group in terms of, it's almost experimental in a way, because I think originally they wanted to kind of make it that members could float in and out between groups. But now they've kind of realized like that might not be really feasibly like profitable, I guess. So I think some members are locked into certain groups, but then they can still come back together and do these big collaborations like NCT 2020.
Yeah, or NCTU, like how they like split and like choose members from like different groups into what would fit in the concept or like a song. So they would just pick and choose like which member would like fit for a song, and then just like put them in the group and just like perform.
Yeah, because a lot of the NCTU songs, like you have members from Dream, you have members from 127, you have members from Wavy, and they're just seamlessly mixed in together and to create almost like a new sound. And I really did dig like the lines that they used in terms of like the groupings of members that they used. Like they really tried to showcase every member's like talents and stuff, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So is there a favorite track you have off of Resonance Part 1?
Oh man, going to like when I first listened to the whole album, I was at work and I was like super stressed out, so that's why I couldn't really get a chance like to get a feel into it for the first time, because I was like being distracted on like my work and like listening to the music for the first time. But after like listening to it again quietly and like in my own room, I got to appreciate like some of the songs more. Like I thought I would be like kind of bored out by like the slow R&B tracks, but I got to like really dig into them. Especially like their last songs, the From Home, which I really love how they like got the members with from different nationalities and then got them to sing from their own language. Like Utah's like they singing Japanese, and like some of the North Americans singing in English, and like someone singing Chinese and Korean. Is like wow, like think about how multicultural like this group is and how unique they are, like trying to recruiting people like from all over the world and getting them to like have their shine and showing off their like where they came from. It's really it really warms my heart listening to that.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, From Home is a really like it's a beautiful way for them to end the album, and it's just almost like it's not really melancholy, but it's almost kind of like I feel like I feel very proud after. It's very heartwarming. I feel very proud after listening to that song. Like there's they have an actual pure Korean version on the album, but I like listening to the one that has all the different. Like you have the Japanese, you have the Korean, you have the Chinese, you have the English in there, and it's really beautifully done.
Yeah,
the arrangement is beautiful.
Yeah, I know they're going to be releasing their music video for that next week, and I really hope they do like the ones with all the languages together, not the Korean, the pure Korean version only.
I hope so too.
I really hope so, and I hope like they get to include like all the members, even though they didn't get to like sing at that part. Just be in the music video. That's my hope for the video for next week.
Yeah, we're crossing our fingers because like I said, they dropped a couple of videos. They dropped Deja Vu with most of the NCT Dream line with Mark. Mark is I feel like the most dynamic because he's been like in almost every single group everywhere of NCT. But Wavy, he's also in Super M, so like Mark is everywhere.
It's funny if you put him in Wavy, he's just like for no reason, like what? I don't speak Chinese, man.
Yeah, something tells me he would actually learn Chinese though to be in Wavy. I'm sure also Lucas would probably drag him over to Wavy.
I won't be no one lonely anymore.
No more lonely.
No more happy.
No more happy.
Okay, like it's kind of an in joke with like you have to check out some of their crack videos.
There's so many NCT crack videos because, like I said, you put all 23 of them together, insanity will happen.
Pure chaos.
Also, this also reminds me, I cannot wait for their variety show that comes out on the 20th. Is it the 25th or the 23rd?
I already see some clips about like them in those escape room game already. So
yeah. It looks fascinating because it's like again all 23 of them. Chaos will happen.
So, like, start like fighting each other. They're already like starting to fight each other.
I can't wait. I love chaotic idol madness. It's any variety show with chaotic idol madness is hilarious.
Okay, I was about I'm sorry to digress, but favorite tracks I think other than like their the ones that they released like Make a Wish and like their track videos of the abridged versions. I think I really love their. Man, I really like almost all of their songs, but I like the track that they've done like for like the solidified groups, like the NCT Dream for Deja Vu, and then into like the Wavy's like nasty ass like Nectar title.
Oh track. My goodness, yeah. Like Nectar is like a slick kind of sleazy song, but like it works for them.
Yeah, it works them. How come after their love talk? After their love talk, I'm not surprised that they're going to be doing something like that.
I'm not gonna lie, Wavy has some very thoughty songs. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. And also, especially with NCT like 127's like music dance. It's more of like a really like chanty, loud kind of like club song that they would, kind of like identifies as them as like a 127 group. They I think this was like some of the favorite portions of during the album. There's like solidified groups like track titles.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely liked when they broke back down to their main units in terms of Dream, Wavy, and 127. I mean, because you go also into I love also what NCT does a lot with their music. Especially 127 does this a lot. I'm not sure if Dream does this because I still need to listen to a lot more Dream.
Yeah,
but
me too.
They also have these very interesting interludes that they play that are very they're very musical, kind of like chaotic. Like the one for this one, Past to Present, is like super chaotic. Like it's blending like older like retro style music into like this more futuristic, bombastic. And throughout, and it's only like a minute long, and it's insane. Like
it goes to show how diverse and appreciative how NCT could be. Like can go from like the 90s old school hip hop from like their Misfits track and into like some like really jazzy R&B flow, like the Dancing in the Rain, which is an underrated hit, I could say.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Dancing in the Rain is a really fun, like jazzy. Like I wasn't expecting something jazzy from NCT, but it works for them.
Yeah, it does. You know how like SM is really good into like their R&B music and like their soul. They're really good into that. So I'm glad that NCT is able to delve into that kind of medium for themselves, but make it still their own thing. Like they're kind of more of a futuristic hip hop type of group. I would listen to that during Christmas instead of like listening to all those same old like Christmas carols.
You don't want to listen to more Mariah Carey. All I want for Christmas is you.
I want to hurt myself. Okay. The last time I keep on hearing that song again, even from my favorite artist Paul McCartney, if I hear it like that, simply having bang my head into the wall.
As somebody who used to work in retail and had to listen to Christmas music from Thanksgiving to Christmas, yes, Christmas music wants to make me bash my head in. I wish there was more K-pop Christmas music. That might be something we need to look for this year.
Yeah, like that. Like if you want to make a good winter sounding Christmas music, don't just have the sleigh bell sound. Just don't mention anything about Christmas. Just make a Christmas sounding song. That would make me appreciate the season better. And then having freaking character Rudolph, Santa, Kiss Me, and all this stuff. Let's get more creative with Christmas music, please, guys.
Yeah, let's definitely get a little more creative. We listen to the same stuff every year. There's nothing new that's coming out. It would be interesting if K-pop would actually do that. I mean, Christmas celebrating Korea different than in the States, but in the West.
I know with EXO they did a Christmas song. I would listen to that, but
oh yes. I just also just like what EXO's winter albums when they always they used to drop their winter albums. Universe is an amazing winter song. Period. I will just say that right now. Yeah, this album it didn't catch me off guard because I knew it was coming because we had been seeing all the teasers and stuff, but I was just very impressed with how often they pull out. And apparently Make-A-Wish just basically outperformed almost all their previous videos. Is that what you were telling me the other day?
Oh, sorry, what do you mean by that?
Oh, the music video when Make-A-Wish dropped on YouTube, didn't it broke how many first views it had in the first 24 hours between release for NCT previous music videos.
Yeah, for the previous music videos, I saw the records how their music videos were just one digit a 1 digit million views, but they went up to 2 digits. That's how high they got boosted into with their music comeback video. It's really amazing that they've gone so far, and they're still a fairly new band. They came out in 2016, and they're going in strong in their careers. So I'm really proud of what they're doing, and I really hope for the best for the new members, for Shotaro and Songchan as well.
Yeah, this is the introduction of those two members now as part of the NCT family. I'm very curious to see where they're going to end up after 2020.
Yeah, like I know they're gonna be in U for the moment, but I wonder if like Sungchan will be in the 127 group, and like how about Shotaro? Maybe the same thing.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll add him to 127 or if they'll. I don't know if they'll add him to Dream.
Yeah, maybe because they're still like a young group. I don't know who's like the youngest, but yeah, they're still a fairly young age.
I just know that it probably won't be in Wavy.
Yeah,
unless they know Chinese.
Unless the Japanese with no Chinese leads. But at least Shotaro know how to like perform the takeoff dance choreography. It's really good.
Yes. No, it's been known in the NCT fandom that Shotaro had a very illustrious TikTok career. He has a lot of covers of very many songs on his TikTok, and he's a really good dancer. I'll put that way.
He could be like a problematic, quote unquote, not like, like his personality wise, it's just like how he would perform and how he could potentially become. I'm kind of nervous, but he's wildly talented, and I really hope for the best. And I hope they give him some more lines, not just like have him like dance on stage. So, I don't know if they could like rap or sing. Hopefully, they could like hone some of those other skills as well.
Yeah, because I mean, dancing's good, but like if you have multiple skills, like, again, I'm gonna go back to my bias, J-Hope from BTS, who can rap and dance and sing too, all three in one. But yeah, I mean, just have the more talent on stage, and like hopefully now we've had a taste of both Sungchan and Shotaro, that we can hopefully like see more of them, hopefully with future NCT projects. So
yeah, we hope for the best for them. And I hope, hopefully they have their fun in the group.
I hope so too. Like I said, this NCT comeback has been crazy, and this is only the first part.
Their second part's gonna be coming out in November, and I hope, like my wish for make a wish for the for like their next album is that they have them all together, like Black on Black 2.0.
Oh my god!
Just have them like crush the stage if they do that in the award shows. It's just hell no.
Oh god! Oh my god! My brain just I think malfunctioned there for a second. Imagine that kind of thing during award season. Oh,
it's like a massive earthquake. It's like they're gonna like classify it as like earthquake NCT 2020.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not gonna lie. When we get to award season December, award season stages are some of the most iconic stages for a lot of groups.
Yes.
Also, iconic memes. Jackson Wang last year. But yeah, I mean, especially last year, there was some super iconic. I mean, not to mention because BTS had a freaking 42-minute stage.
Oh.
Like they literally had a mini BTS concert during the end of the award show, in the middle of them getting announced for the 4 major awards, winning all 4 major awards. Which they basically that was insane in itself. To just other like the smaller like coming up groups like having some really really amazing performances. I know Tomorrow by Together had an amazing performance. With Magic, ATEEZ covering Blood, Sweat, and Tears, as I go back to that. Also, Ming Titties. Damn you, Mingy! If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go watch the ATEEZ performance.
Even BTS was shook at that moment. Like they have flashbacks on their Mama 2014 with J-Hope and Jimin ripping up their shirt.
I know, I was just about to say, well, Hobi didn't rip off a shirt. Jimin ripped off his shirt. If Hobi had ripped off his shirt, I would no longer be in existence.
Sorry, that imagination.
I'm gonna die. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, I know he did like his splits. Like he's a really flexible performer. But
yeah, no. There's been a lot of shirts coming off on stages as of late. I feel like
if they have with the younger groups on the stage, then it's gonna be over.
Oh god, I didn't even think about Wonho performing during the awards season. Oh, that's gonna be thoughty. Oof.
Oh no! I bet his Monsta X member was like, oh no.
And on top of that, we have a Monsta X comeback happening too. So it's gonna be insane.
I don't think I can handle any of those comebacks this month and like the next.
I don't know how we're gonna survive to the end of the year at this rate. We'll find a way, but it's gonna be hard.
Like anything to make 2020 that more chaotic, I guess, in a good or bad way. Take it as you may.
I'm gonna say me. I don't know. Actually, really don't know.
In between.
We'll go in the between right now and see what happens when we get to award season in December. Which also don't even know how that's gonna work technically with social distancing and stuff, but we'll find out. We've had award season. They just had the Billboard Music Awards here in the States yesterday. I'm recording this on Thursday. As on Wednesday, they had the Billboard Music Awards, which BTS, yet again, won for top social performance. But not gonna lie, it was a little kind of jarring, like having all these having live banter, and then like they cut to the performances that weren't live. That was just kind of weird.
I didn't see that, so
yeah. Also, how dare you, Billboard, for basically teasing ARMY for 3 hours to basically only show the Top Social Artist Award, because BTS didn't win Best Duo Group this year, which they did last year. It actually went to the Jonas Brothers, but they basically waited to drop Top Social until like the second to last award of the night, so they could keep ARMY on the airs for 3 hours because they know the drawing power of ARMY. Yeah, we're on to you, Billboard.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering, like, for next year for the Grammy Awards, do you think they're going to be, like, considered after, like, their English single Dynamite?
They're really pushing Dynamite for consideration. I feel like there's been rumors, like, they've been really pushing it. So, yeah. I mean, Dynamite's great and all, but I really, really, like, I really want them to, like, they're just Korean stuff. Like, Dynamite's cool now. It's in English, and it's a fun, catchy song, and, like, yeah, it's a historical run and everything. But
I think that's their way for them to at least be considered for like the Grammy nominations, at least because it's kind of like difficult for like international, especially like with the Korean music being considered with other like nominations like American or like English language selections. So
yeah, I mean, it took a while for Latin to I mean, they have their own separate Latin award show now for Billboard, for Billboard and for other stuff. I mean, Latin has a whole subsection of Grammys for themselves. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is if BTS does get nominated for Dynamite, usually most of the nominees do have performances on the Grammy stage, and I hope when they do that, they perform so like some of their most like dynamically Korean stuff, like Idol and stuff like that. Because I mean, they're, like I said, they're unapologetic on their culture and on their influences. It's like they're Korean guys.
And I hope they don't lose that just to make some more English singles. So I hope they don't lose that thing with them that made them like really stand out as like a Korean band.
Yeah, well, we'll find out when B drops on November 20th because that's their next album. So, like I said, I don't know how we're going to survive till the end of the year, but we shall see. But I think we've talked a lot. We've actually talked quite a bit today, and I think this was a really fun conversation. Almost an hour this week.
About 2 groups.
Hey, I mean, we're talking about our main, like, ultimate groups. I feel like that's why our main bias is in K-pop, although I have many biases in K-pop, if you can't tell already.
Yeah, multi-stance. Multi-stance.
Yeah, I've actually had a friend ask me, she's like, how do you keep up with all these? I'm like, I don't.
I just gotten familiarized with the members of NCT. I think like I started members like oh yeah, Jaemin, Renjun. Okay, now I know. Yep. I'm becoming an expert. I'm becoming an N-citizen.
You are. I think you're a legit N-citizen. I'm very much baby N-citizen. I'm totally a diehard ARMY.
Oh yeah,
you couldn't tell. Also diehard ATINY, which is ATEEZ's fandom.
I'm still dipping my toes into the world of AT still. So
I have a feeling when they have their next comeback, I'm definitely dragging you down with me.
Oh my God.
But that is, I don't know. They're not currently in this comeback menu, which thank God, because I don't know if I can handle having ATEEZ in the mix currently with Tomorrow by Together and 17 and BTS and NCT and Monster X. Yeah, there's a lot. So, but I guess.
Not to mention like SHINee coming back together slowly. But
yes.
Freaking welcome back, Key. Sassy King.
Keen is already drunk Instagrams. I'm not drunk.
We're drunk. I had a beer, lol. Oh my god, I miss him so much.
We missed you. With that, I think we're going to call it for this week's episode of the Noonas podcast. I think, next week, I think we're going to probably have to talk 17's mini album and I guess see what else comes up in terms of K-pop news. Like I said, the comeback schedule just keeps on churning here. So
It's so like exhausting us to no end.
Yeah, the life of a multi-stan is hard.
Yeah. Like,
So
I feel like I'm already cold in my room, so I was just like shaking with like fear, excitement, dread.
We're experiencing a lot of emotions at once.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. We'll see you all next week. Fighting.
Fighting.